Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. First, to confirm the team news for you, Arsenal unchanged from Anfield. Manuel Almunia has been the first-choice goalkeeper since August. It's the all-French-speaking back four. They seem to have the right type of defensive communication for Arsene Wenger. It's a midfield five with Alex Hleb given that roving commission again. And the one main striker, Emmanuel Adebayor, who hit Arsenal's winner at Old Trafford just over a year ago. 9 years now since an Englishman last scored for Arsenal against United in the Premier League. But Theo Walcott might just get the chance to change that later.
Well, same team, and I guess same system and same way of playing as Anfield last week. We have Hleb in that midfield area. He will play as much as he can slightly forward, and it'll be a bit more like that, I would think, with Adebayor just playing up front on his own. They got pretty strict here. He stays pretty much up the right-hand side of Bowie, doesn't wander an awful lot. The trouble mainly comes from this left side with Ziziki prepared to wander, drift in field and cause
that we've spotted already here today. That's what this matchup means.
I can't think of another league match in the 17 years you and I have been doing this, Martin, that's had a build-up that this has had this week. It's been cup final-like.
You must have had it all day. What's going to happen, Andy? Yeah. What's going to happen? So what is going to happen, Andy?
And I still don't know. We sit here, there are 3 results possible, and I couldn't tell you which one it's going to be. Somebody could win big. You know, we could get a draw, we could get a scruffy, boring 0-0 or a 1-0. I hope not. I just don't know, Mark. What I do know is I've not been as excited about a game taking place before it actually starts than I have been in the build-up to this one. Because physically they're strong, both these teams. It's early in the season, so they're physically very strong, mentally sound. Confidence is high in both camps, and the performance levels of the big players is of such a high standard that we have it all here. I just hope in 90 minutes time we haven't been disappointed.
Yes, Goliath against Goliath, a global audience. They're estimating via these television pictures of 1 billion football fans around the world. And it is a fixture, as you say, Andy, set up by the form of the two teams going into it, that justifies such an audience. We're hearing there's been a bit of trouble in the tunnel, but because the goalkeeper, Edwin van der Sar, you just saw him there in green, the referee and his assistants have had to change to yellow. Officials that, of course, took charge at Anfield only last Sunday, all 4 of them. It's quite a departure from protocol by the Premier League, a compliment to Howard Webb and his team, but here they are. The top 2 since the start of the Premier League back in 1992 in terms of points gleaned over that period. The top 2, of course, in the current Premier League table. If you're looking at it as an automatic title decider. I would counsel against that, because Arsenal did the double over the champions last season and finished fourth, 21 points behind Manchester United.
Yeah, and I think they're so close, Martin, in the league, 26 points each. Nothing separating apart from goals scored. That, you know, I think it's a type of game, I know a negative way, you could lose this and still not worry too much about your season being destroyed. You know, there's nothing telling about the game today. All we're going to find out in the next 90 minutes is who's the best side this afternoon.
United with 8 Premier League wins in a row, 12 goals struck in the last 3 of those triumphs. Arsenal unbeaten all season, since April in fact, but they have pretty recent memories of a record-breaking run being ended by Manchester United. The sense of anticipation is truly enormous around the Emirates Stadium. In form, and now sharply in focus, the league leaders against the defending champions, and it's live.
Well, talking done. Time for the feet to write the next chapter in this ongoing saga between Arsenal and Manchester United. You want to go interactive, push the red button on your remote control and follow the instructions to that menu page. Commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
It's a mouth-watering clash between two sets of footballers who have been nigh on invincible this season. Arsenal do have a game in hand, but so little else between the clubs. Both on 26 points. Both have a plus goal difference of 15. Arsenal top, only by dint of more goals scored. They are the best attacking unit so far. Manchester United are the best defensively. And here goes Kleb, right for it from the kickoff. Collision between Rosicky and Adebayor. So eager with A to support Kleb's early surge. Goal kick.
Well, working on the fact that they might be surprised, and they almost were, had Adebayor and Rosicky not ran into each other and left him without any support. It might have been different. Can laugh at it now.
Adebayor, who's been saying this week he turned down an offer from Manchester United to stay at Arsenal. Plenty of chat in the build-up, but it's now all about the action. Arsenal quite literally 10 out of 10 at home this season. With their 100% record, 6 of those wins in the Premier League. Here's Sagna, knows a thing or two about Evra, who faces him here from their time together in France, or against each other in France, I should say, and Adebayor again in maybe a little bit too much of a early match rush.
Well, just trying to pick out what United might be doing. I look down in front of me, I see Wayne Rooney playing leftish, adopting a left side position at the moment. Ryan Giggs playing a little more infield. So maybe Sir Alex is going to play Rooney, Tevez and Ronaldo right across the top. Certainly looks that way at the moment. And tuck Giggs into a narrow 3 alongside Hargreaves and Anderson.
Just as you suggested. There is
Rooney's
Rooney
going that way, and Manchester United won't be bothered too much. It's when you find Rooney in the edge of his own box, or 5 yards from his own goal line.
Well, after that broken bone, Rooney has really found his feet again. He's scored in 7 games in a row for United and England, and he usually comes up with something special against Arsenal. In Carlos Tevez, United have a player who was in the only side to beat Arsenal on this ground, with West Ham, of course, for that 1-0 win in April. Arsenal haven't lost anywhere since then, 24 games, which equals their club record. Kleb.
What a measure of the confidence these boys are playing with in red and white. Look at this. Opened them up beautifully there.
Flamini to Clichy. He loves bombing on, but he's played more than 100 times for Arsenal without scoring, and that didn't threaten to open his account.
He was quite vocal this morning in the press. There had a couple of things he was talking about Ronaldo, saying he had a mastered, dangerous thing to say just before the match.
There was an FA Cup semi-final, wasn't there, when Ronaldo ran Clichy ragged. It's over 3 years ago now, so Clichy will feel he knows a bit more, but then so does Ronaldo, I'm sure. It's a nice header down from the player from Portugal. Goes in again against Rosicki. Wes Brown on the burst. Some mopping up to be done for Mathieu Flamini. He's already played more Premiership football this season than he did for Arsenal in the last campaign when he was out of favour for long periods. Doesn't work for Ronaldo against Rosicki there. Not much of a touch for Fabregas as yet.
It was slipped by Vidic. Adebayor always getting through. No, just it's a little hectic at the moment. You might expect that, hopefully 5 or 10 minutes till players settle. Just offside, given against Adebayor for coming back.
Vidic. Ryan Giggs playing against Arsenal for the 37th time in his illustrious career. Trying to set Evra away.
Ambitious.
It's a compliment to him that he's been brought back. He played well in this fixture in January when United were leading until the last 7 minutes. For a rare headed goal from Rooney. And then Van Persie, who injured himself in the process, equalised, and Thierry Henry, remember him? He got the winner. A bit too tight on Rosicki from Brown.
You just feel like they'll have been told that Manchester United work on that. If the balls are into a red and white shirt, you've got to be very tight. Can't stand off and allow this team to pass it about you.
Fabregas. Pleb getting it through that congested Manchester United midfield, on by Adebayor. Which was across a bit quicker than Eboué got forward. Flamini, advantage played by Howard Webb. A bit of an afters between Anderson and Flamini. Ronaldo having to defend, and he hasn't done it very well. And the whistle has gone hard to hear it amid the deafening noise here.
He's just having a quick word with Anderson, Howard Webb, that little spat with Flamini. Yeah, it was with Flamini, I think, wasn't it? Just a little coming together here as all three of them really collide. Nothing much there.
Nicely done by Clichy, away from Tevez. Eboué with Sagna pushing up outside him, and plenty of support the other way as well. Pleb. Rosicki. That's behind Adebayor. A low cross. Manchester United have conceded only 4 Premier League goals this season, but 3 of them have been headers. Fabregas. Can Sagna reach this? He can.
And they just caught Wayne Rooney a little ball watching there. Fabregas and Sagna.
Good strength from the little fella from Argentina, Tevez. And Manchester United breaking with 4 here. Rosicki's tackle spoke to Anderson. Giggs. Well, Rooney has been back defending, but Manchester United certainly got plenty of others forward on the breakout. Anderson has been getting some plaudits from Alex Ferguson recently, very early in his Manchester United career. He's played against Arsenal before for Porto. Well, Clichy's missed it. And Gallas there expecting the unexpected. Hargreaves getting down to business as the anchor man in United's midfield. Rooney and Sagna. going to be obviously a contest of skill here today, but of spirit as well. As a terrific togetherness in both squads.
First little test for Arsenal for set play. They were a little sloppy at Anfield last week. The marking wasn't up to scratch. They got away with it. They have to defend better today. Wes Brown totally unmarked at the back post.
And Ronaldo, it shaves the post, but the whistle had gone, it wouldn't have counted.
I'm not so sure why. Well, you only think he was pushing, but he didn't seem to do an awful lot wrong. Ronaldo seemed to climb well, get a good header. He's saying me. I had a little bit of sympathy with him. Keep an eye on number 7. Just maybe that little touch, that can be all it was, but it's very generous from Howard Webb. But they weren't quite set there, Arsenal. They were just a little ragged.
Eboué. Fabregas back to Flamini. Club. Towards Adebayor, who does get ahead to it.
Well, Arsene Wenger will be quite happy if he sees Ronaldo and Rooney spending a lot of the time doing this, chasing his fullbacks. He just gets caught again. Ronaldo didn't really track Clichy at all. Ball's a little behind Adebayor, made it a little difficult.
Benjani of Portsmouth. Agbon Lahore of Aston Villa. And the former Arsenal striker, Jeremy Aliadier of Middlesbrough, have headed goals past Manchester United this season. Rooney. Some room here for Giggs. Tevez trying to get across the front of Gallas then.
Awkward height. The deflection here just makes it really awkward. Eboué gets caught here. Lovely run off him from Giggs. But this deflection here just really ended up fizzing at Tevez. Just couldn't adjust his body.
Promising opening 10 minutes. Adebayor. There's Rosicki. Certainly won't stay wide on the left-hand side. Clichy. 1 against 2. And losing out. And now he's got to race back against Cristiano Ronaldo. Hesitation between the two centre-backs here and the right-back, Sanya. The assistant is flagging, and Arsenal are going to get out of it with a free kick. And that was a bit nervy.
Well, just a little indecision here. Again, this gets the deflection. It just fools Gallas there. Just loses his bearings a little. Yeah. Fouls against Rooney. Linesman's a long way away given that decision.
Darren Can. He'll say so. Arsenal are able to regroup from the free kick. Hans Lehmann is the backup goalkeeper today on the Arsenal bench. But Germany's number 1 is Arsenal's number 2. Toure. Flag up. United trusting a highish line.
Only just went a little early. It is always dangerous to allow someone step in. You see how close that is. Look at the far side. Look at Wes Brown's position. I think they got away with that, Manchester United. It's very, very close. You can't allow somebody to step into the midfield area like that. No pressure on him. It's always dangerous holding the line like that.
Into the back over Rosicki. Here's Evra. Manchester United have found so much more punch in recent weeks. For the first couple of months of the season, they weren't even averaging a goal a game.
That's good play from
into form. Rooney can't keep it. Eboué. Fabregas who's been penalised by referee Webb.
And I just hope he doesn't get a bit over officious. I'm not so sure there's an awful lot wrong with that. Anderson tries to put his body in there. Fabregas wins the ball quite cleanly, in my opinion. I think the last thing we need is for the referee's whistle to be breaking up this game unnecessarily. Two teams that want the game to flow.
Not been too much interaction between the two managers before the game started. It's been a rivalry for more than 10 years now, right at the top end of English club football.
Yeah, it looks like Sir Alex has just said to Tevez and Rooney, you know, one of you has got to have the responsibility of this left side. You see Tevez there at the moment. Now Rooney's up top. So one of you has got to work the left side. The other plays central, and Ronaldo will play on the right.
Zitsky. For the run of Adebayor. Fabregas, the goal machine, is in the middle. Ooh, referee, as Vidic spreads his arms, Arsenal asking.
I tell you, it's worth another look. This is worth another look. This leg is in there, and just how bad is that? Look at Vidic, look at the tug in the shirt. Honestly, I think defenders at times get away with absolute murder in there. Look at that. Clear tug at Kleb's shirt.
What Howard Webb had to realise was the tug on the shirt responsible for Kleb ending up on the deck.
No, but is it pulling somebody's shirt a foul?
Yeah, yes. I know what you said. but it's the way players go down also influences the decision maker. Great run by Adebayor until Everett intervenes.
Might be the first yellow card. Yeah, it was hugely rash from Evra. I don't think he's ever getting this ball. Sees him coming, just plays Adebayor. No attempt to play the ball.
He used to be club mates, Andy, at Monaco. So Evra returns to the team and has given himself a problem after only 16 minutes. Fabregas to take the free kick. And back in by Mathieu Flamini, out by Vidic, on by Rooney. Tevez. Ronaldo. 5 forward for Manchester United here, and Ronaldo able to whip it in dangerously. Sagna wasn't quite sure where Ryan Giggs was, it seems.
I just think that with Sagna doing nothing, it fools Ryan Giggs. This is a brilliant ball across from Cristiano Ronaldo, and Sagna doesn't really know what to do. He ends up leaving it. It turned out to be a decent decision in the end, because it just takes Giggs a little by surprise.
I mentioned one short of the century of league goals for Ryan Giggs, although they have to add a proviso to that. The goal against Aston Villa recently is going to be adjudicated by the dubious goals panel. Adebayor is up, Van der Sar is out. And here's Evra. Giggs. Probably isn't playing as much now as he would want. He's starting the big one. Ferdinand. Lovely delivery for Ronaldo. Ran into some traffic. Toure. Well, they're pretty respectful of each other.
Absolutely.
You could understand that. might have been the same at Anfield, but Steven Gerrard rammed in that early goal and gave a different context to the contest. Interesting to see how Arsenal line up a defensive wall if Manchester United get a similar situation. It was a great hit by Gerrard, but was pretty poor defending by particularly Eboué and Flamini.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Flamini broke off the wall. Steven just smashed it through the gap.
Ferdinand. Ronaldo came short, then spun in behind Clichy. This was a threatening one to Arsenal.
That's where they do very well. If they play a ball like that, United, and then they don't follow it up, and Arsenal quite happily play their way out of any problems they might have.
Eboué, the former right-back, who's become a right-sided midfield player. And Alex Ferguson's concerned about Patrice Evra and any incident that involves his challenges.
I think he's more concerned about the referee's decision.
Yeah, but the player just been booked, and if it's a challenge from behind. There's no loss of language with the passing of the years for the Manchester United manager, who has an anniversary coming up, 21 years in this job. Next Tuesday, I think it is. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Been a few fourth officials who've had an earful over those 21 years, that's for sure. Touré and Gallas. Passing from the back from Arsenal again. Adebayo is leaning in, and Evra does get a decision here.
I just think sometimes officials just get too officious, if you want. Just using his arm, he's just keeping him off. I tell you, you're taught to do that, you work at things like that. There's a huge difference in the height. This is a tackle that upset Fergie. I can understand why. Doesn't go off his feet, it's a nothing tackle.
There have been some testy, fractious meetings between Wenger's Arsenal and Ferguson's Manchester United.
Yeah, people are saying there's no Keane, there's no Keown, there's no Vieira, no Gary Neville here today, but there are a few spiky players still out there that will react and can react.
I just wonder how Arsenal will react when eventually they do lose a game. Not been the most gracious losers in the past. It's 0-0 here, and almost the half of the first half gone. Down goes Adebayo. Been a lot of calls on Hardweb's expertise. Touré. And the responsibility of using the ball to Flamini. Eboué. Manchester United just jogging back to make sure they've got their five in midfield. Stop Arsenal's strength in that department.
It's a poor return pass from Eboué. Didn't give Fabregas a chance there.
Vidic, Ferdinand.
United have done quite well in the first quarter of this. They keep, says Fabregas, fairly quiet.
A little bit more edge to their attacking play, Arsenal's. So they'll defend here against Giggs. Only ever scored one league goal against Arsenal. It was at Highbury.
This is a good hit. There's absolutely no reason why he shouldn't take it on. They get a bit of good fortune here. Just there, he has a look. Rooney's run just occupies Sanya. Just gives him a chance to take the shot on.
Adebayo. Flamini, a good ball back to the striker. Rosetsky. There's a danger Manchester United coming in from the left onto his right foot. Sanya strong against Rooney. Anderson plucking it away from Flep. And goes Toure powerfully. And not John from Flep. Eboué. Arsenal fans trying to play their part here. Impish work by Tevez. Rooney. Well, developing wavelength with Tevez. He instinctively knew where the angle was for that pass. Got a change of direction by Anderson, trying to slide Rooney through the middle.
I don't think that would surprise anyone. Arsenal just shading their possession. They've been slightly the better side, I would say. Without either goalkeeper been really troubled too much with 25.
Eboué. Well, given the Giggs chance at the back post, and that Ronaldo header admittedly wouldn't have counted, but he got in, shaved the post. Manchester United marginally more menacing. Rosicky. Fabregas. Digs there to plug a gap. Hargreaves has done very well. He's not one to panic. Oh, the ball was on for Giggs. The space there for Carlos Tevez.
Yeah, Hargreaves and Anderson are doing a pretty good job in front of Manchester United's back four. That's the area that Fabregas likes to do his damage in high up the pitch. Hargreaves and Anderson are working really hard to frustrate Arsenal. Like that.
It's the second Manchester United booking. It's time for Owen Hargreaves.
Yeah, just the trailing leg comes through. I think he had a fair idea what he was doing.
So Alan Wiley gets it in the other ear now.
Perfectly balanced then, yeah.
Toure. Been attritional to this point, but a couple of quick passes from either side, and there'll be a goal to celebrate. With so much talent amongst the tacklers. And Brown
Took a chance, where's Brown?
Game, yeah. Evra. Tevez took it back into trouble that time.
I just get the impression that Manchester United are happy to frustrate Arsenal and just restrict them as much as they can, almost pinch the game, if you like, to defend well, to leave their top three in a position where they might be able to exploit any chance that they get.
That was a rash challenge by Brown, who went to ground. Adebayor stayed on his feet and kept the ball. Toure. Because if Manchester United were to lose, Arsenal would be 3 points ahead with a game in hand. Here's Toure!
Now it's an opening.
Such a sense of adventure about his football, even in a contest that's been chessboard like this.
Well, sometimes it might just take something like this. Rio Ferdinand gives him a little too much space there. He just needed a little bit of craft, a little bit of bend, rather than so much power.
Nothing for the goalkeepers to do so far. Rather odd day when United, through dint of the fixtures and the placing of them, Arsenal have been in front at the top of the table for 7 weeks. Rooney. Ronaldo gives it to Tevez, again moved away. And there is space for Ronaldo on the United right, but it's going to take a better ball than that to make use of it. Yeah. Pleb.
I didn't think I'd be saying this half an hour on, but the game needs a goal. There's a doubt about that. I think United are pretty set, and I don't think they'll change the way that they've started in this game if it continues like this. In many ways, it's up to the home side to force the issue and make United change.
Anderson. Here's Clichy. Fabregas missed it. It almost fell invitingly for Eboué. That's the problems Arsenal are having, normally so slick in the attacking third. It was a free kick. It was
a free kick. Yeah. Again, I think it's a nothing free kick that Howard Webb's blown his whistle for. The passing, I don't think has been up to the standard that we saw at Anfield last week, Arsenal's. But I do think that's because, Hargreaves and Anderson in particular and Giggs at times have made it really difficult for Arsenal to pick their way through when they get the ball in this area. That's where United have done really well, just outside their own penalty area. In that sort of 18-yard line from 10 yards out of there. They've made it difficult for Arsenal to find the passing.
Tevez got it onto Rooney and turned to Giggs.
And this is it. There's the 4 players up in attack, Martin. The 3 front men supplemented by Giggs.
Ronaldo's cross, Rooney near post. Paulo Torre slid in to deny him.
Look how many red and white shirts were there. That they occupied those 4 players. And Anderson and Hargreaves were only just content to support and let the 4 get on with it.
Yeah, Anderson's been playing more like Viv Anderson, who of course was a great defender for both Manchester United and Arsenal in the past. Here's Sagna. Fabregas.
I went across it too, thought about it, but when Adebayor's just 10 yards away, you're struggling to drop it in there.
You see, Andy, we may say it's only November and there's 2/3 of the season to go, and the result maybe really doesn't matter in the scheme of things come May, but I don't think the two managers think that and the sets of players think that.
No, you're absolutely
That's why
right.
we've had what we have had for the first third of this match.
It was me stupidly getting carried away with the dream that we're about to see 2 teams just go at each other.
Tevez. Now Giggs. Going early. Again towards Ronaldo, who likes that kind of supply. Tucked in well by Pleb. Torre. Fabregas, Rosicki, Adebayor. All the restrictions put on the game really by the strategies of the 2 camps, you still get the feeling in a moment that can change. And the potential in both Arsenal and Manchester United. They'll be met by Bakary Sagna. Colchester play Leicester, which you can see live at 5:15 today on Sky Sports at 1 and HD1. Seen as centre-backs have a fair amount of the ball, type of positions. Ronaldo charging on with plenty of vigour.
Got the corner, put enough pressure on Clichy. Certainly a good race from these two. It just comes off Clichy, I thought, just as before it was out there, off the knee. It's a right decision.
And it's a semblance of a chance for Manchester United. Arsenal, as you pointed out already, Andy, perhaps not rock solid in their defensive work at set pieces. Brown goes towards the near post. Glass steered it away. Directed by Rosicki. Might be some space. There hasn't been much for Arsenal in this first half. It's a break on here for them with Kleb as well. And Webb's given it against Anderson.
Yeah, I think it's a foul. Soon came to an end, that quick break. We haven't had much of that. Well, without the left foot of Van Persie, they seriously can't look at hitting this at N1. And Gallas just coming over to have a word with Fabregas.
William Gallas has been a real leader in his short time as Arsenal's captain this season, in succession to Thierry Henry. Fabregas listening to him. And it was Gallas who obviously got the right message across, but his fine header was bettered by Van der Sar's save.
Well, he's lucky in a way that that ball's right at Van der Sar, and that's what makes the save possible. I think a yard either side of him. And that's in.
United having problems defending the corner as well. Adebayor, Toure, and Kolo Toure again, but it's going to be cleared by Ronaldo. It should have been cleared a bit better. Back by the head of Flamini. And Hargreaves did his job. Rosicki penalised, but Edwin Van der Sar as Anderson brandishes an imaginary yellow card, wanting Howard Webb to do the same. But Manchester United pleased that Van der Sar was in the firing line really and kept it out.
Well, that's a lovely run from Gallas. He makes a very positive run near post. The ball's right on the money from Fabregas. Perfectly height for him to head. And that's when Van der Sar's a little fortunate. Right at his legs, this is. Doesn't have to move very far to save that.
He was the culprit, but you know what Anderson did, I thought the authorities were trying to stamp out and say if you brandish that imaginary card you would get booked. But we had one of those many memos that we seem to be given Andy up in the commentary position a few years back. But anyway, here's Tevez. A reaction from the United man clearly because two Manchester United players had been yellow carded already, and Arsenal have escaped that sort of punishment.
That's a little bit today where they've not quite been at it, maybe not the right word to use, but the passing just has let them down a little bit in the last 12 Arsenals.
It's very similar to the first half here in January, and all got going in the second half, and Rooney scored quite early after the restart, and then Arsenal had to dig deep and did. And ended up with the 3 points. Manchester United would want me to point out they ended up with the Premier League title. Here's Fabregas. Adebayor.
Fabregas had gone. He's finally spotted by Kleb, but he had gone off the run. Adebayor was the one who was looking for the ball off.
Still Fabregas. Rosicki being encouraged to shoot. It was not much of a shot in truth.
Pass back, wasn't it?
Evra. Anderson. I think the card is going to come out now against an Arsenal man, says Fabregas.
Well, if there was any doubt, then Anderson was making sure there wasn't any with his reaction. Slightly OTT. He does get caught, you can see that.
That's a booking.
That's a booking, but I mean, Anderson's role there, and he keeps going and going and going, and he must travel another 5 or 6 feet. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, he's up, nothing wrong with him. I just think that's... Yeah. Young boy, we know that. They're both young boys.
Fabregas now 1 yellow card away from a suspension for the totting up procedure. There's one further yellow card here, away from not finishing the game. Adebayor. Arsenal stifled again in midfield. And if you're going to beat them, that's what you've got to do to them, I guess, Andy.
Yeah, pressure. Sometimes can be dangerous and risky, and it's very, very hard to do and keep it going for 90 minutes. If you decide to do that, it's good high up the pitch. You've got to get all your players doing it and then tune with you. What they've done a lot today, Manchester United, is let Arsenal have it and get back behind the ball and just say, OK, then we're going to hold our line just outside their own penalty area and then make you work very hard to work it round us.
Boy, spraying the obvious one to Sanya.
Fred's on.
Just again, not quite that decisive work on the tape. Maybe it's just a lack of the sort of confidence that they've been showing against pretty much everybody else. It's not quite the Arsenal tempo with the passing. And Manchester United should be complimented for that not happening. Here's Gallas.
I'm just looking at Fabregas now. He's trying to get himself in that little half-and-half position. You see him there. Anderson spots it, and he just tracks him. And he's walking across. He's finally got some space.
Yeah.
But look who's back right onto him, Hargreaves. And that's what they've done well. That's frustrated Arsenal.
Pressure on Hargreaves this time. Been a bit stop-start.
Yeah. And no need for it. That'll be offside.
Oh, just as well for Arsenal it was. Because actually could have got plenty of space there and stayed onside.
Well, it looks a mile, and we're about to see just how close this is. You look at the far side again, cliche. It never ceases to amaze me how fullbacks who are on the opposite side of the pitch do that. Cause so much trouble with their teammates.
Here's Adebayor. Running at Ferdinand. Moves now again. What he was signed to do. A protracted deal with Bayern Munich actually was concluded. Club, Fabregas. And they're not quite for Arsenal.
No, United as an attacking force really haven't contributed at all in this half. The odd little move forward, but very, very little for Gallas and Kolo Toure to worry about.
But they've stopped the dancing feet of Arsenal.
Absolutely. And that's the first job when you come here.
Fabregas. It's fantastic what he has achieved with all his other attributes. To have scored 10 goals by the end of October, says Fabregas. I'm going to look at one or two other Arsenal midfield players to see if anybody came close. I got Liam Brady with 9 one year.
I think that just emphasises what we've been talking about. Manchester United not really showing an awful lot in this area here, where the ball is at the moment.
That's a great kick, that by Almunia. Hargreaves. Ronaldo. Tevez. Evra. Scraping it away and stopping Manchester United getting into the sort of stride that they've been strutting with over the last few weeks. 4 consecutive 4-goal performances in all competitions. And we're closing in on the completion of a goalless first half at the Emirates. And here's Brown. Ronaldo, Rooney near post again. And it's found its way in, and it's not a goalless first half at the Emirates because Manchester United have taken the lead. Rooney did it in this fixture last season. He's done it again today.
Well, this is a real smash and grab and a real scruffy goal that Manchester United supporters and players don't mind. As I said, they've been on the back foot most of this first half. And then right on cue, well, Wes Brown does well initially out there on that right-hand side. It's a decent run from Rooney, just gets ahead of Gallas, and do you know, I think Gallas might even block the first shot, and it comes back and hits Rooney. No, it comes off Gallas, actually. He doesn't get a good purchase on this. Look at that, Rooney. I don't even know if that's going in, Martin. That might have just been a kind of across the face of goal. But sometimes luck plays a part. There'll be a big debate about that, as to who exactly will get credited with that.
Well, the run made the goal. Yeah. And Manchester United, the champions, lead this morning's league leaders by a 1-0. There's going to be a free kick before the half-time whistle. And Arsene Wenger, who is one of the world's worst losers of a football match, is very aggravated at the nature of the goal, the timing of the goal, and pretty much everything else in his life at the moment.
I just wonder if he thought that Wes Brown's initial challenge there, I'm not sure who it was on, when he eased him out, the player, Arsenal player out, quite physically out the way, whether he's complaining that that might have been a free kick, I don't know. Sure, the guys will have a look at that at half-time.
And set up for Kolo Touré,
and there's a deflection there, but took it wide.
It's half-time. Well, William Gallas, who nearly scored at one end, has got the final touch at the other, with Wayne Rooney going near post right at the end of the first half, which was meandering really to a 0-0 situation. But Manchester United, untidily, but very happily from their perspective, lead at the break at the Emirates. Arsenal's unbeaten record is under threat here. From the defending champions, it's Arsenal 0, Manchester United 1 at the break.
All that live, simultaneously Wednesday night. So far, so good for Sir Alex Ferguson and Manchester United. Wayne Rooney's goal separates the two teams here. It is game on. How do Arsenal change, if at all, to address this?
Well, I'm sure Arsene Wenger will be reasonably happy because you know how well they came back last week. They showed tremendous character to come back with us with the same formation, the same team. He has options. He has Eduardo that can come on, who's obviously a proven goal scorer. He will be a little bit worried. He didn't really create. They didn't really give Manchester United enough problems. So we might feel, if he sticks two up top, that might occupy Ferdinand and Vidic more, because they've been really comfortable, Manchester United, for me.
What do you do when you're caught in this trap as a manager, thinking, well, I can trust them because they have so far this season not let me down anywhere yet, or got to change this, got to give them something to think about?
I think he has to trust them a little bit. Maybe look at it for 20-25 minutes and then change it.
Saw John O'Shea warming up. I think he's still out there.
Yeah.
Would that be with a purpose?
Possibly not, maybe not yet, but he was certainly getting warmed up with some intent. He was the only one out there. Sir Alex might be a bit worried about Evra. He's been booked. looks a little bit off the pace today, and also from set pieces. You might feel if he gets him back there, he's a big guy against the likes of Adebayor and Gallas, as we've seen. He just got out jumped a minute ago, but it doesn't look like he's going to do it yet. It looks like the same personnel ever stood on the pitch.
Well, if we thought last week was a test for Arsenal at Liverpool, this is they trail. Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Some Arsenal fans came here today worried about a potential takeover of their beloved club. The Red Action Group have some banners around the ground, but the majority now of the Arsenal fans are worried about a takeover at the top of the table from Manchester United, who lead with that very late goal in the first half. Certainly one for the dubious goals panel. I have to say, I wish they'd meet every week and clear it up after each weekend. It would be very easy to do and make an announcement, so all the
they don't do things. They don't do things simple, Martin.
We'll probably have to wait a month or so to get a ruling on it.
That's not a job to take the goal off, Rooney. I don't think it was going in, and that might be the case. And not only will Ryan Giggs be waiting, so is Rooney waiting, I guess, to find out.
It's Arsenal 0, Manchester United 1 at the start of the second half, whoever's goal it is. But no doubt Rooney had made that run well in the earlier part of the first half well, and almost scored. Touré sliding in to deny him. Here he is jumping for the header, beaten by the aforementioned Touré. Sagna. Rosicki. Cut out by Ferdinand. Rooney's kick is in the end only matched by an unusual lapse in control by Giggs. He's gone and got possession for himself though. Rooney. Evra, Rooney, now Giggs. There's Brown, who's involved in the goal, contentiously maybe. He was dropped after Arsenal won at Old Trafford a year ago when Adebayor scored. He was deemed the culprit, really.
Well, he's had a decent run with Gary Neville's injury, but United skip up on his way back, played in midweek.
Hasn't played the senior game for 8 months. It'll take a while to adjust to this level of competition again.
I'll just look down and Theo Walcott sent out to have a little jog, have a little warm-up with Eduardo.
Good pressure by Anderson again.
But they trust their ability, Arsenal players, don't they, Mark? That's the thing.
One from Fabregas to Adebayor. Eboué. But Adebayor, smothering save by Van der Sar. Sagna's there, and Fabregas. 1-1 at the Emirates. The boy from Barcelona, who's the main man here, has done it again.
Well, it's just quite incredible. This season that this young man is having, he's unlucky. I think he's done a brilliant job of stopping Adebayor. But he's right at the heart of it. United get stretched for one of the first times in the match. And just watch this, it's a lovely ball and a run. But look at the goalkeeper, out he comes, smothers it, and Sagna just says, this is mine, I'm keeping it alive. And remember last week, when he thrashed at one at Anfield, Fabregas, he controls this one and just picks his spot. When the cool head was needed, the right man was in the right place. Best possible start for Arsenal.
6 league goals, 11 in all matches for the Gunners. This season it's been an incredible upsurge in that side of his game.
I don't think that's a foul, I'm sorry, Martin. I do think Howard Webb has been far too picky by far today. I think Vidic is going over and just stumbling as he loses balance. Makes a run there and they're both fighting each other and he just goes over. And that's hugely generous from the official. But I guess Sir Alex will, ask his team, why were we so stretched, lads, at the beginning of the second half? The one thing we didn't want to do was invite Arsenal back in too early.
Fabregas trying to get away from Giggs. Here's Eboué. Well, the score has changed, the atmosphere has changed. In fact, the game changed from the moment that Manchester United scored right at the end of the first half. It threw down the gauntlet for Arsenal, and they've picked it up now.
It was a goal that was so typical of Arsenal. Kleb was under pressure just outside his own box, Martin, but he trusted his ability.
There's Flamini going for it. Adebayor. Sanya. Rosicki. Sanya again. Tossed in towards Adebayor. Setting up Flamini.
Well, it's a hit. Just leaning back slightly, you can see that. The moment it left his foot, it was always over.
Here's Hargreaves. Well, Manchester United did a number on Arsenal in the first half, but some of those shackles now don't seem to be so strongly planted around the opposition.
It was half a chance for Kleb there, just to slide the ball through. He was really disappointed. I think he felt he could have done it.
Flamini. Toure just working it around Rooney. Sanya.
Well, when they do that, Martin, they get the extra man there.
Kleb. Eboué.
Oh, that's a poor cross. 3 red and white shirts waiting. Rosicki. Fabregas, Adebayor. Eboué really didn't play a good ball in there.
Well, it was stuttering, the Arsenal machine in the first half. Some of the purr is coming back to their engines now. And you wonder where these goals have come from. He's more than doubled his total for the club since April.
It's extraordinary. I mean, I do think that if you think back to last year, and Jamie touched on it at the beginning of the show, he did have a lot of chances last year, man, didn't he? He had a lot of shots at goal, had a lot of efforts, never quite came for him.
I had one stat for him last season, 2 goals in 54 appearances. Now I'm talking about 11 in the last 15.
It's extraordinary.
I mean, it's the shape of the team, the sharing of the responsibility.
Absolutely, I said that, yeah.
But it's Giggs. And Manchester United, traditionally so strong in adversity. Toure. Brown. Rooney, Ronaldo's offside.
Well, this is close, but when the players are right in front of you, probably just about ahead. Not a lot in it.
alternative routes back into regaining the lead for Manchester United. There was a 4-2 win at Highbury, wasn't there, when they were 1-0 down and 2-1 down. Ronaldo got 2 in 4 minutes in that match.
I just wonder if United have just changed it and gone more traditional 4-4-2. You see Giggs on that left side there. You look at Rooney and Tevez there. Look like they're trying to play up top a bit more. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm sure Rooney and Tevez will be more happy with that than chasing Sanya down the pitch all the time.
Fabregas, who of course makes them as well as scores them. Here's Adebayor. Good footwork by Edwin van der Sar.
It was good work because he fizzed it back at Rio Ferdinand there.
Clichy. Has to be chalk on the ball. Clichy. Knew who he was looking for. Webb shouts for handball. Howard Webb had a pretty good angle on it. Waves away the protest from the Gunners.
It might have come up and hit the hand, but I don't think I'd have given the penalty either there. He's rather played at him. Lovely run from Clichy. And he just pokes a leg at that and straight at the arm from what, a foot away. You're not going to get a penalty for that. Not unless it's a mistake from the official. It's quite right there.
Aaron Hargreaves. That's a genuine presence, Howard Webb. Been recognised by the refereeing authorities. Big frame for the big games. Flamini. Eboué. Sanya's on the run again. Adebayor.
I'm just thinking what he would give for a goal, Adebayor. It's been a while since he scored his last, I think, against Derby here, wasn't it?
He got 6 in very quick succession in September.
He's struggled since then.
Oh, Flamini, not closed down. I'm not sure about whether to shoot or not.
I think a rather rash challenge. Rather rash from Anderson. Flamini was going nowhere but into traffic here, I think. He's surrounded by Manchester United shirts. He's not going anywhere, and I just think that's a stupid foul. It really is.
Prior to that, a slicker passing move as Arsenal put together in the game, really. Working it from deep.
Well, they worked it from right in the corner. And Fabregas won it down the bottom left corner and worked it all the way across and up.
Well, Kolo Touré has been teed up on a few occasions this season. Scored here against Bolton.
I just wondered about Clichy. I mean, he's
they've
only
got a
left
left
footer.
footer.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about it earlier on. I said Van Persie not there. He didn't. Would you trust it to someone who hasn't scored in what?
113th game.
Well, why not? Stranger stories have been written about this game, about this sport.
And Fabregas is having another look at it, if he can see a way maybe to whip it in to Van der Sar's left. Touré wants his shot.
So, if it's Kraft, it's Fabregas.
It's Fabregas.
I'm just wondering, is this one of those with wall jumps that goes underneath it? There you go. I always said that if that's right in the corner, that gives Van der Sar a problem.
Evra.
Folding in a bit the rest of it.
I thought Flamini touched that and it came very close to rolling out. And then silly slack play from Arsenal. And Almunia is understandably berating Clichy and Flamini.
Well, they were just casual, both of them.
Off goes Rooney. This comes Toure. And Manchester United have a corner.
Oh, we've got a game now. We always had a game, but it's opened up more. That's what we have found at the beginning of the second half.
I think Sarek thought it was out.
Yes.
And Flamini put his foot on the ball, or tried to. Well, Rio Ferdinand scored in the last 2 away games for Manchester United. Gives in charge of the corner. And going towards the front post, it's over him, and Vidic, who's also a real threat from dead ball situations.
Well, I'm sure people will argue whether it's an own goal or it's not, but it's Wayne Rooney's run. That was where Arsene Wenger had a problem. He thought free kick wasn't given. And Wayne Rooney makes a run that's very important. And then this is what I mean about Arsenal. Look at the pressure Clem's under. This is a build-up to the goal. But he's confident enough to start it and find Fabregas. And then, from there, another beautiful little chip ball. And Sanya makes his mark there. And the rest, well, they wouldn't have wanted it to drop to anyone else.
Club. Fabregas. An hour gone. Sanya, the right back, who helped Arsenal get right back in it. Fabregas. Sanya again.
Wayne Rooney just got caught again. Sanya just drifted in at the back of him. Fortunately, Evra spotted it.
Ronaldo was caught in possession and then gave away the free kick, trying to get it back.
This is when I think that managers make big decisions at times with regards to substitution. A big game like this, level pegging. Who might be brave enough to make the decision to win them or cost them the game?
Tevez. You could see what he was trying to do, intervene and accelerate away, but the ball just skipped up. Tevez is playing for his place, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. He wasn't pulling out of that challenge. I wish he just kind of half goes in, and you'll be amazed how you just dangle a leg there and someone comes in really committed, how you come off second best time and time again. But looking at Arsene, what has he got available to him? We talked about Walcott, Eduardo. And I think he likes a buoy on that right side against Manchester United because Evra's attacking threat is always there. And with a buoy's natural defensive instincts, I think he quite likes him there to cope with that. But I just think, maybe Rosicky here on this side. An injection of pace from Walcott against Wes Brown might just work.
There's Rosicky. Kleb out for the return pass. I think just take it and shoot.
I think he should have just opened his body there. If he just lets it slide across his body, he can be smashing that.
By Evra. Rooney. Well, Giggs and Arslan picked him up. Nor Tevez, nor Rooney! That's very good play by Manchester United.
Well, it was a bad mistake from Fabregas. He gave the ball away cheaply, and there's that 4 that we've talked about. It's a lovely little dink ball in from Rooney. Well, I'm not going to say it's easy, but Wayne Rooney will know he should work the goalkeeper from there. That's the least he should do.
He's been working on his heading too. He scored with a header at that end of the Emirates in January here.
Well, the attempts mount for Arsenal. Double. half of them on target. Just the one. And that's what Sanya does. This is when they can get 2v1 against Evra.
Eboué. Pleb. Gonna shoot this time.
Just took a lot of time. Well, Eboué didn't use Sanya. Look at the run he's made on the outside. He just gets closed down by Rio Ferdinand very, very well.
Well, they've won every home game this season, Arsenal. And they're threatening to get in front here against Manchester United, having trailed at half-time. Adebayor. Flamini. Eboué. Rosicki.
Wrong way. Wanted it the other side. Needed to get slid straight into his run. Well, Arsenal may look the more threatening at the moment. I think they do, but every time you need to go forward. And that four players, Tevez, Rooney, Giggs and Ronaldo, are capable of doing anything.
Well, both teams have got the tools to finish
They
this
have,
job, haven't they?
absolutely, Mark.
Here's Adebayor. Pleb. Taking on Brown. Goal kick.
Just got a little congestion. I just wonder, everyone gets sucked to this near post. And Eboué is coming in back post. I know it's a real difficult. Watch the top of the screen, but watch all the Manchester United players. Every one of them gets dragged into that near post. Look at that. And there's a massive gap. If Eboué really wanted to come in there. I guess his instincts aren't as of a goal scorer.
Mind you, we were saying that about Fabregas last season. Rosicki. Flamini. Quickly into the feet of Adebayor. Brown was on his toes to turn it away from Kleb. He thought he'd nicked it from Ronaldo. Howard Webb had another angle on it.
Well, again, it's Ronaldo's foot that clips Clichy. Clichy doesn't make a tackle at all there. It's very unlucky, Gael Clichy. Yeah, it's pretty strong, that possession. I think they've responded really well second half, the home side. It was up to them, they come out. United had the goal, had the lead.
Here's Rooney. Well, Evra, in goes Ronaldo. Arsenal were hesitating. Rooney. Almunia pleased to restore a bit of order here. And it deserted the home side momentarily.
Lovely little ball from Wayne Rooney, and Evra couldn't have done any more. They couldn't score, the angle was against them. Just a little bit lack of support. And that's why he's a threat, and that's why I think Arsene Wenger likes to play Eboué up there against him, because he will get forward, that will.
Here's Rooney. Running at Arsenal. Almunia, who's played twice against Manchester United before and lost on both occasions.
Do you know, it's quite extraordinary times, man. I watched that piece of football just there, and Manchester United at the edge of the Arsenal's 18-yard box had their four attackers, and then there was a gap of some 40 yards before the next Manchester United player was there.
Here's Adebayor, is up there on his own. It was ricocheting forward in his direction after Tevez's pass so nearly opened up Arsenal for Rooney. At times the game is spread, and you think, Andy, we probably haven't seen a marquee moment from Ronaldo or from Tevez.
No.
That could still come. It's edge of the seat time at the Emirates. Kleb. Sanya. Rosicki.
Not too much on it.
Flamini. Trying to be forceful from midfield, and he thrust out an arm to hold off Hargreaves. He's caught him in the face. Hargreaves a bit shaken. Fabregas. Eboué is getting a lot of the ball in this facet of the game. Kleb. It's Thomas Rosicki for Arsenal.
Just trying to use the outside of his right foot to bend it. It gets caught rather out in front of him here. He just sees it early, right across the ball. Decent effort, good idea. Just didn't have enough on it to get it back on target.
Well, Wes Brown is off. And it's the versatile John O'Shea who's been in the team recently at left-back. With Evra's injury, he is now needed at right-back. Flamini. Rosicki, Adebayor. Could bounce for Ferdinand to deal with. Fabregas is reaching for it.
Yeah. Well, no one's going to give him stick, are they?
Well, David Dean is here today, who left in controversial circumstances, was told to clear his desk after many, many years service to Arsenal. This is Tevez. And O'Shea for company, and now Hargreaves. There's no sitting back by Manchester United when they get some orderly possession. Anderson. There's a long, long way out. It certainly wasn't the worst try.
Well, not worried Almunia enough. It's just a bit of concentration for the goalkeeper. Sees it coming all the way. Arsene Wenger about to make his first change, I guess. Theo Walcott's tracksuit's coming off. But where? You know, as I say, I would say maybe Rosicki is at risk, because I don't think he'd want Evra to be bombing up that left side. Maybe Walcott's inexperience might let him down defensively in that respect.
Of course, he got his goals against Slavia Prague playing as a striker, didn't he? Theo Walcott.
Yeah.
So that's another option.
Well, he could just bring Kleb to the left side, couldn't he? If they wanted to take Rosicki off and put Walcott up top. A couple of options for the Arsenal manager when he eventually comes on.
Well, in this fixture last season, at this stage, Arsenal were still trailing 1-0, but they turned it round to win 2-1. Here's Cristiano Ronaldo. Evra. Rooney made the pass possible. Now he needs some support. Anderson. Hargreaves. Well, it's Theo Walcott time. And that's for Eboué.
There's Eboué. Well, they're taking a chance there, as I said. this wall, his theory will be Arsene Wenger, that Walcott's pace and skill might just put Evra on the back foot.
Well, that's a problem that Manchester United haven't faced before. Here's Giggs. And he had to get back to stay onside, and he was aware of that. Sanya. But very lucky Almunia again. A skewed left-footed clearance. Adebayor just pressing Ferdinand. And Webb again. Even though Manchester United kept the ball.
I don't understand it. Vidic has got the ball, comfortable in possession. I just don't understand why we have to bring the game to a halt.
He's brought it to a halt again for that bit of grappling by Rooney. Louis Saha, who's coming on as he has 4 times already this season in the Premier League. He scored in 2 of those games. One of them against Chelsea, you might recall. Tevez hadn't been quite able to get into the game as he has been doing recently. But Saha's a very capable replacement. And Michael Carrick likewise for Anderson.
Being replaced by 16, Michael Carrick.
Michael Carrick's time at Tottenham acknowledged by the Arsenal boos.
Walcott's on with pace for Arsenal, and no doubt Saha will be expected to do the same. And if Colo Torre and Gallas get a little sloppy, leave some space in behind, and Saha could certainly exploit that.
Walcott was caught in possession. Free kick not from there though. Just be moved back. Toure. Live action for you on Sunday, and from Carrow Road, the East Anglian derby. Glenn Roeder in charge of Norwich for the first time against Ipswich of all clubs, and it's West Ham against Bolton. It's the Super Sunday offering from the Barclays Premier League. That was an attempted cross by Walcott, but Van der Sar had to use his considerable reach.
I'm not so sure Sanya will be happy with this. Look at the run the right-back's made. They've got 2v1 developing. Just needs to slide it down. He's made a 70-yard run, Sanya.
And it's Ronaldo's pass. Almunia's hesitated here in the face of Rooney. And Walcott gets Arsenal out of a potential jam.
In many ways, Walcott caused that. He's run, he's crossed straight in the goalkeeper's arms. Sanya had bombed on ahead of him, couldn't get back, and the other end, Manchester United nearly picked their pocket.
Eduardo, 2 goals against Sheffield United in the Carling Cup on Wednesday. Coming on to face another United here. Carrick. Well, both sides are going for the win. Ronaldo. Off Clichy. It's a corner for the champions.
Well, they've added the height of Saha as opposed to the size of Tevez. It's an advantage. Situations like this, there's an added threat now. Louis Saha, great climb, can jump.
And Saha's just gone and stood alongside Almunia. And he's pulled a player in, the goalkeeper, and it's Thomas Rositzky, who you wouldn't have thought was maybe the perfectly built for the job. Well, Giggs was looking for a flick on at the near post from his corner. Ended rather tamely for Manchester United.
Yeah, I don't think it was a great corner. Vidic went, stopped. I think just lands awkwardly there as he goes in. Yeah. Just a little winded, I guess.
All three substitutes used. For Manchester United, that is.
Arsenal substitution. Thomas Rositzky.
Rositzky departs with 10 minutes to go. It's Eduardo on, and Kickoff as well, and Gilberto replaces him.
Being replaced by 19, Gilberto.
You just get the impression that they're trying to release Fabregas a little further forward. You would guess they've got Gilberto and Flamini there.
Well, the changes have been made. Will they change the scoreline here?
Well, they both get pretty similar setups now. It's back fours, two holding midfield players in front of the back four, and then four others that they're just going to say, go on,
try and win
try
us
and
the
get
game.
us a winner. Yeah. Eduardo's going to play from the left. Fabregas going to play from just behind Adebayor.
Zaha anticipating well. Great run by Evra for Manchester United, and Ronaldo, with 9 minutes to go, has put Manchester United back in front.
I warned you about Evra. I warned about a buoy coming off, and maybe he would just do something, and my goodness, hasn't he just? You watch top of the screen, you watch Walcott and Evra, what happens? Evra's run will come in any minute. He goes behind everybody. It's a super run, but no one tracks him, no one picks him up. And from there, the alarm bells are ringing for Arsenal. And it's take your pick. Well, you said Ronaldo hasn't produced a champagne moment yet. Well, he just has.
And Alex Ferguson, who put Patrice Evra back in the team today. And he supplied Cristiano Ronaldo. And it's a lead now for Manchester United to defend in these closing minutes. Better than they defended their lead in the opening minutes of the second half, they will hope. One up for the champions, thumbs up for the champions. Adebayor, Fabregas. There's Gilberto. And Rooney. The representative of a less than calm approach then. And here's Clichy. There might be more offerings for Manchester United here, because Arsenal have to commit now. They've been a little reluctant to do that by their usual free-willing standards all game.
No, United are ideal with a plan, there's absolutely no doubt about that. I think he's had a great game ever. I really do. I think as an attacking option on that side, he's always been around. Zaha played his part, of course. He went and fetched the ball, and he played a nice little ball into Evra, Luis Zaha. And United will try and play keep ball.
Well, when you said, Andy, there's four up to try and go for the win, actually Manchester United provided a fifth, didn't they, in Evra?
Yeah.
And the gamble paid off. Cristiano Ronaldo, 4 in the league, 7 in all competitions. He's now ahead of Rooney as Manchester United's leading scorer so far.
Well, they said he might not do what he did last year, but he's well on the way to his tally. You see, I think United came to do a job on Arsenal, and I think they've done a pretty good job of it in that respect. Pretty good indeed.
Toure. Keep going, as Arsenal have to. Eduardo, Adebayor. Oh!
What a day he's having.
Patrice Evra wondering how he got away with this.
Well, I'm not so sure if Adebayor could have gotten something on this, but he doesn't. Well, you talk about good fortune. They've had a couple of slices at that goal, Manchester United.
It's come to Gallas.
You know, they had a bit of luck when the ball deflected off Gallas for the first goal. And they've had a huge chunk of luck when the ball's deflected off the bar, when Evra's no idea where it's going there. But it's this goal that separates them. And it's a pretty good build-up. That's a really great run from Patrice Evra. And that's just a simple one for Cristiano Ronaldo. And didn't he enjoy that? And that's why he's back in the side mark so quickly.
Ronaldo. Good work by Sanya. Eduardo. Fabregas. West Ham, the only team to beat Arsenal here at the Emirates. And Manchester United are closing in on emulating that. The consternation of Arsene Wenger and all on the Arsenal bench. O'Shea. Saha. Carrick. Ronaldo. Arsenal have been making so many headlines with the calibre of their play and that scintillating start to the season, but this would be 9 Premier League wins in a row for Manchester United. Sparkling statistics of their own. Rooney. O'Shea. And Rooney.
Making Arsenal chase it. That's exactly what Alex Ferguson would expect from his team at this point in the match. But that's a little sloppy from Zaha. Oh, he gets a free kick.
It's a very urgent challenge by Toure. A statement of priorities for Manchester United fans. They're certainly feeling that way at the moment. The wife will be pleased to get a mention, I think.
I don't understand that. I mean, Howard Webb is nearer than the linesman. He's got a better view than the linesman because he's square on and does nothing. I mean, extraordinary.
You know, we talk about the teams recognising the rivalry between the two clubs and maybe cautious approach, particularly in the first half. I also think the officials are aware of the history between the two clubs as well, and Howard Webb has been quick to punish today.
See, Saha can't believe that. The free kick's been given against him there. I do think they've been a little fussy, the officials, today.
2 minutes plus added time. I think it's fair to say that Arsenal's 100% home record's going to go. They'll take stopping the end of their unbeaten run. Remember, they've equalled the club record. Walcott. So, the free kick against Theo Walcott. Again, Evra read it well. He's made perhaps a meal of the aftermath, but he got across quickly.
And I guess his body in the way. That, I guess, would be old-fashioned obstruction. So he got his body there, and then, well, that's a free kick from there. He's just trying to retrieve it, Theo Walcott. Stoppage time will be interesting. It might be a bit. It just might be a bit.
Well, for the majority in the stadium. Looks like it's a disappointing Saturday. But the Manchester United followers were fortunate enough to get their tickets for the Emirates, are ready to salute a famous victory. Oh, and it's come through to Eduardo's ability at snap shooting is very good indeed, better than that incident showed.
When you see what he did against Sheffield United with that left foot, this is probably an easier chance because it's sitting softly for him. Doesn't come at him fast, comes at a nice height, he has time to set himself. Big games, big moments, come and go. And that one is come and gone. And it might be the last one. It's 3 minutes.
3 it is. And Manchester United leading by the goal made by their number 3. A slowish start to Alex Ferguson's season. Not so much through results, but an inability to get really conclusive performances. Those 1-0 sequences. A 1-goal margin today is all that it takes to salute a splendid achievement. Here's Clichy. And at the back post, and eventually it comes out to Walcott. It's still
Giving it, linesman's giving it, Martin. Linesman's running away. Linesman is giving it. Flag went up ages ago. He was off and running. I've got no idea who scored this. I've got no idea who got the last touch.
Was it over the line?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But he was off. He was off ages ago. They've all... William Gallas. What a finish. Gallas knows it, because he wheels away. What a finish this is. Under pressure. He's a centre-half. But look at the way he cushions it in. But yet again, I'll tell you, we talked about Evra. It was Gael Clichy's turn this time. What a run he made down this left wing.
90 seconds to go. Gallas, who's scored against Manchester United for Marseille, he scored against Manchester United for Chelsea, and now in the nick of time he's done it for Arsenal. He played an unwitting part in Manchester United taking the lead. He's played the part in Arsenal equalising here and preserving their unbeaten start to the season, surely. Out by Vidic.
There can be absolutely no argument about one thing, that the officials got it spot on.
O'Shea. Here goes Ronaldo. Well, it took a while to get going, Mr. Gray.
It did. Well, the first half was cagey, and United did a job on them. But the second half, both teams have gone and tried to win it.
And so Dominic, the French coach, seeing William Gallas score here. He's brought that knack across London with him.
I think it would be hard to argue, Martin, that Arsenal haven't deserved something. What a finish, I say it again. It's the coolness of a Fabregas there at that back post, tight angle.
Well, it's a new club record for Arsenal, 25 games now unbeaten, thanks to William Gallas in the most dramatic of circumstances. After Manchester United led twice here, Fabregas equalised the opening United goal, which went in off Gallas from Rooney. Ronaldo must have thought he'd won it, but Manchester United couldn't hold on. The champions have ended the 100% home record at the Emirates this season, the 11th visitor and the first to avoid defeat. But Arsenal stay top, still by goals scored, still with a game in hand. And down to the captain's contribution, William Gallas, and an eagle-eyed linesman, Darren Cann, who said goal for Arsenal in the nick of time. Wim van der Sar doesn't agree, but the scoreline is in the record books. It is Arsenal 2, Manchester United 2.
Stunning, absolutely stunning finish. Always knew it was there. It did take a while to get going. But what you can be certain of when these two come head-to-head is that something is going to happen somewhere along the line. Extraordinary stuff. That's the top. Arsenal's unbeaten record preserved by William Gallas in stoppage time. That's what's coming today. Of course, keep up to date with everything that's happening with Jeff Stelling and the boys on Soccer Saturday, and you can see tonight's football at 8:25 with Matt Lorenzo on Sky Sports 1. Extraordinary stuff, that.